All right. So, okay, let's get this started. So, I'll say hi to everyone as they come into the chat if anyone even shows up into it. This actually has to do with an article that was sent to me by Bullet. Thank you again, Bullet. This is apparently on some site called Babe, BABE. I don't know. I've never heard of it before, but let's go ahead and take a look at it. Now, the title of this article is "I've cheated on every guy I've ever dated, and I don't feel even a little bit sorry." Then the under portion is, "It's too easy." Now, I'm looking at this picture of this woman, and I mean, she looks like she has at least some attractive qualities. So, oh hey, how's it going, Turbattle? But yeah, Caroline Finney. And I'm sorry, guys, I just updated OBS before I did this stream, and I didn't realize that it could randomly delete certain things. I would have it set up, but I'm not. I already hit start stream before I realized that I couldn't pull this up, so I'll go ahead and remake that screen setup later. But, yo, Warrior, how's it going, man? So, let's get into this shit. So in this, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to kind of read through it. I'm going to skip through some of the bullshit in this because it's basically just this bitch saying the same thing in 4 different ways. And as much as I can see the value in doing that in some circumstances, you only need to say that you're a cheating cunt, in one way. I mean, she doesn't even sit there and call herself a cheating cunt, so she's not even being 100% honest here. She honestly thinks that she's doing nothing wrong by cheating on people. In fact, she goes ahead and tries to justify it. But let's go ahead and get into this. She starts out with, "I'm a love addict." No, there's a difference between someone who's addicted to love and someone who is addicted to sex. There is a difference. Someone who is addicted to love, such as a serial monogamist, is addicted to the feeling that you get from experiencing the emotion of love. Now, later on in here, she says she never loved any of the guys that she cheated with, and she never dated any of them afterwards. It's all like, you're already saying you're a cheating cunt 100% of the fucking time. What's the most common connecting factor between a cheating cunt and our perception of them? Lying. Same thing with a guy. I mean, a guy that cheats is a cheating cunt. So guess what? The common connecting factor is they are a liar. Very difficult to get away with cheating if you're not lying. And I'm including lying through omission. But she actually sits there and encourages people to lie through omission, to directly lie, and to lie about who a person is that they are talking to. All of this is a bad idea, and it is a recipe for fucking disaster. This is the type of shit that could get people fucking killed. Because what if the person that you're dating, what if they have that fucking trigger? What if they're one of those people that's been cheated on over and over and over again, been fucked over, ran through the system, fucked over again, fucked over some more? What if you are the straw that broke the camel's back, and then they proceed to break yours over their knee? Am I saying that it's right to do that? Well, you know what? With a bitch like this, if she was to get with someone, they didn't know her history, and she was to sit there and pop something like this up, and then them find out that she'd been cheating on them the whole fucking time, I can't say that I fully disagree with it. I can't anymore. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think that violence should be used unless in self-defense. But I've said this before. When someone is cheating on you, they are putting you at risk. They could go out, get some sort of fucked up STD, come back to you, and give you that death sentence right along with them. Or give you some incurable disease that's going to make absolutely certain that you are a pauper for the rest of your life. There are so many things that can go wrong. What if they go out and cheat on you with some fucking thug who then goes ahead, calls up his buddies, follows her back to your place, they break in, shoot the both of you to steal your shit because while she was sitting there and talking with the thug afterwards, she mentioned something that he might want. Again, we know that women go after the fucking bad boy. So, there's so much here to unpack. I'm gonna try to be quick about it. I'm gonna try to stay relatively concise. But I want people to know where I'm coming from straight out the fucking gate. Now, yeah, that was off the first fucking sentence, by the way. Just, I understand this. She says, I spent hours scrolling through New York Times Modern Love section or The Cut's Sex Diaries. Don't even know what that fucking shit is. I go on about a date a week and spend the rest of my time watching other people's love stories unfold on Netflix. Stepford Wives is not people's love stories unfolding on Netflix. I'm just gonna say this right now. And I didn't know that Netflix had Jerry Springer on there. I didn't know that because you know what the thing is that's the only shit that she would recognize as normal as far as love life is concerned. Now, while some might tell you the key to romantic satisfaction is sleeping with at least 25 people before settling down, actually what people are telling you is that if your partner that you end up marrying is the only one that you've ever slept with, more often than not, you will be more satisfied with that person than if you had a whole plethora of lovers beforehand. It's just one of those fucking things. I mean, hell, I'm proud at how low my count is for how many women I've slept with in my lifespan. I am proud of that. Why? Because the thing is I look at people that go out there and just sleep with anything that moves, and I pity them. Because once you reach a certain part, once you get to a certain point, you lose the ability to pair bond. And the thing is someone like her will lie straight to your fucking face. If she's willing to lie about cheating on you, she's willing to lie about how many people she's been with in the past. Just fucking saying. She says, I have a very different approach. Yeah, her approach is cheat on every last single fucking person. And then have no regrets about it. No regret about lying to them. Feel that you've done nothing wrong by betraying this person's trust. And then get pissy with them when they call you out on your bullshit. And I'm not joking there. It gets there in this. Turbattle, you're right. They do keep getting advice from the wrong women. And I can say that 100%. Why? Because they are getting advice from women, period. The more I hear women talk nowadays about relationships and how to make relationships work, the more nuclear the face palms get. I mean, these women are actively going out of their way now to give the absolute worst dating advice. Maybe good advice for short-term dating, like having an open relationship or something like that. Okay, that might add a couple fucking months, but then it's going to go south right quick and in a hurry. Oh, good God. See, and the thing is it's shit like this that I point to shit like this and I go, look, this is the reason why men are starting to think that women do not want a long-term relationship. This is the reason why men are getting more brazen about calling out women. Because of shit right here. So she says, when I talk about my future with my friends, it always includes marriage and children. But I've also cheated on every person I've ever been with. Let's hit the brakes again. So, she wants marriage and children. But she can't keep her fucking legs closed. That's good on the children front, not so much on the marriage front. And she's going out and sleeping with people other than the person that she's dating. Something tells me she would get exceedingly pissed off if she found out that a guy that she was dating cheated on her. So, let's oh, don't even get me started on the don't forget the new polyamorous pansexual revolution. Oh, don't even get me fucking started on that. I know a person in real life that's trying to fucking convince me that that's a legit fucking thing. I'm like, no. You know what? They have a name for that. It's called a horn dog. And if you're a horn dog, just admit that you're a fucking horn dog. And admit that you are willing to go out and fuck anything that moves. I will respect you more than if you sit there and try to say, well, I'm a polyamorous pansexual. No, fuck you. No, you're a man whore. Or if you're a woman, you're just a whore. Let's keep it simple, people. You know? But if you've agreed to a monogamous relationship, it's written into the framework that you won't stray, physically or emotionally. Yeah, that's kind of what dating is. Because the thing is a lot of women have kind of lost what the concept of dating is. Dating is a trial run for marriage. It's just the trial goes, all right, we're going through this stage. Are we at least compatible on a most basic of levels? All right, cool. All right, are we compatible on this level? Are we compatible on that level? Adding on each time until you reach the whole marriage thing. That's the purpose of fucking dating. And the thing is there's still women out there that sit there and say all men want is sex. Men don't actually want a committed fucking relationship. Oh God. Alright. But here's the thing, she says. You're better off doing it anyway. And then there's a picture here of a chat thing on Tinder. You around for drinks on Saturday? I'm seeing someone, actually. LOL and question mark. Yeah, I can be around. Knew it. Now, the thing is at this point, I'm starting to understand why guys, as soon as they see Tinder on a chick's phone, like if they even see the icon on there, they instantly go, well, she's fucking a cheater. She's a fucking whore. No, fuck this. I'm out. I can't trust this bitch. So she says, it's easier to get away with than you think. People don't refrain from cheating because they're happy with their partners. They refrain from cheating because they're afraid of being caught. And perhaps a few of the guys I cheated on knew, but they stayed with me anyway. As for the rest, it was easy enough to hide. Now, here's the thing. You only hide something if you know deep, deep down in your heart of hearts, in the pit of your soul, that it is wrong, that you should not be doing it, that there is something immoral about this. Very rarely is it, oh, well, you know, other people say that it's wrong. I don't see anything wrong with it, but other people say it's wrong. No, most people, if they're all like, I don't see anything wrong with this, it's poof, out there. I mean, they might not be specifically broadcasting it, shoving it in people's faces, going, hey, look at what I did. You know, you might not have that. But the thing is that you're not going to sit there and go, oh, well, it's easy enough to hide. No. No. It's only if it's something wrong or something illegal that you can actually go to prison for. And even on that last one, some people, not so much. Say you're going out with friends, tell them you're spending a weekend at home or away, tell the person you're cheating with that you don't want to attend social functions, and then change their name in your phone to a girl's or guy's, depending on which way you swing. Change it to your mom's, I don't care. Best case scenario, tell the person you're cheating with that you're taken. I doubt they'll have issues keeping it discreet. You see, I love it when someone is cheating, and then the person that they're cheating on their spouse or whatever with gets tired of it and decides, you know what, I'm gonna fucking burn this bridge down in the most epic of ways, and then they send like a video or a picture to the person's spouse or significant other or whatever. I love seeing those situations. I absolutely love seeing those situations. Hell, there was one chick that wanted to date me. We went out and we were getting drinks. Oh, I can't remember where. I can't remember the name of the bar. It was a long time ago. But we were out, we were getting drinks. She told me that she wasn't seeing anyone. Well, she ended up leaving her phone on the table when she went to the bathroom. While she was in the bathroom, I saw her screen light up. The screen said hubby. Oh, really? Okay. So I opened up the phone. And the guy said, "Where the fuck are you?" And I was all like, "I'll send her home to you when I'm done." Hung up the phone. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when she got fucking home. I would have loved to have fucking seen that shit. Because the thing is, the guy didn't call back. I don't know if she just got fucking, like, killed when she got back, whatever. Whatever fucking happened to her, I honestly think she deserves it. Because not only was she wasting my fucking time, but from the sound of that guy, he sounds like the type that would track someone down to kill them. Just saying. So not only was she wasting my time, she was putting me at risk. Because, you know, what if that guy decided to randomly stop by there? Fucking A. I thought it was funny as hell, dude. The cool thing is I stayed there with her, and you know, I bought her a couple drinks, not too many. I all of a sudden went really fucking cheap. But we sat there and BS'd and BS'd and BS'd. And the thing is in a bar, I can get people talking and they lose track of time, and they meant to spend an hour there, and 5 hours later they're like, ah, shit. I'm one of those. Kind of like with the streams and you guys. Anywho. But she says, in here, let's see. If you're worried about them seeing you on Tinder, don't be. Ask them why they were on it in the first place. And if a friend sees you, say your account is old. Here's the thing. I don't personally use Tinder. However, the polyamorous person, you know, the person's trying to get me to accept that shit, which I don't. Well, guess what? They decided that when they were married, this person was married. This was my buddy that was married that got into the open relationship. I've talked about him before. But the thing is him and his wife went into an open relationship. There was a couple of rules. She broke every single fucking one. They're not married no more. Sweet. Thing is, I told him, dude, I got a bad fucking feeling. Don't do it. He didn't listen to me. Thing is the day he told me that he was getting a divorce, he looked at me and said, get it out of your system. I did. I was nice about it because the guy was already having a hard enough time. But still, it's all like, no, I gotta rub some salt in that wound, make sure that there's a fucking scar there so you can look at that scar on your psyche. Every time you get into a relationship, you're gonna run across that scar like a fucking speed bump, and you are going to stop and go, what the fuck am I doing? But notice here that she's suggesting that If someone catches you doing something wrong, you ask them why they were there. You're doing something that you're not supposed to do in a place that they're not supposed to be doing it, and then they're going to ask you why you were there. Here's the thing. That trick won't work on me. Because my answer will be, well, you stopped fucking putting out. You stopped doing the little fucking things. And so it was a fucking goddamn Hail Mary. Mr. Will here. Oh, good God. Well, Mr. H. Will says, Tinder is for getting timber until you get tender. I love it, dude. That's fucking awesome. But yeah. And then she sits there and tells you to lie to the... she's either saying lie to your friends, or if that person's friend sees your account on there, to say that it's old. Well, here's the thing. It's really easy to tell if that account's old. What you do is you create a bullshit account, and then you message it with something that you know she's gonna fucking like, and if you get a reply, the account ain't fucking old. Just fucking saying. Really fucking easy. This bitch is stupid. Either that or she's only dated burnouts. Just saying. It keeps the one you're dating interested. No, it fucking doesn't. As soon as I even suspect that there is cheating going on, my interest is instantly cut in half. And that's just on the first fucking suspicion. I know a lot of guys that are the same fucking way. Yeah, there are some of those guys that'll sit there and think that a woman, you know, not being completely interested in them, all of a sudden it's a challenge. I know that there's some guys like that, but a vast majority of guys aren't like that. If a woman is sitting there and giving signs that she's not fucking interested, that you're not worth her fucking time, a lot of guys now are all like, you know what? Fuck you, you ain't worth my time. I'm gone. I see where this is going. Been down this rabbit hole way too many fucking times. Not even starting. That is the thing here. So, this whole section right here of hers is honestly bullshit. She says there's no easier way to get bored of someone than by dating them. No, there is an easier way to get bored with someone. When they show that they have such a small intellect that they cannot comprehend that someone may think differently than them. So, yeah. She's probably pretty boring to date. And nobody wants to date someone who doesn't have their own life. Again, she's not taking anyone else into consideration. Take me, for example. I'm one of those people, if my significant other or person of interest is constantly running around with other fucking people, not inviting me along, not giving me a call, not answering my calls, taking 2 or 3 days to fucking get back to me, whatever, whatnot, unless, you know, there's something going on that I knew about in advance, I'm gonna sit there and go, hey, what the fuck? Alright, either she's not interested, or she's sitting there and trying to balance multiple fucking things that I'm not okay with. So, that's just me personally. In fact, I want someone who I could sit there and feel comfortable spending the vast majority of my time with. So for me, at this point, my standards for a woman are very unrealistic. For one, she's got to be into video games. She's got to like YouTube. and a lot of the same style of content that I like, which is MGTOW content, so good fucking luck with that. But she's got to like political content, of course, video gaming content, all that sort of shit. She's got to like that sort of thing. Well, guess what? Not very many women out there like that. The vast majority of those women, already taken. So, I ain't finding no one. I've already made peace with that, by the way, guys. I know. I get it. Especially since I'm not exactly catch of the century. But hey, whatever. Not to mention, I don't think that there's a single woman in the world that could possibly keep up with me anymore. On multiple fucking levels. And no, not sexual. Get your minds out of the fucking gutter. Y'all know I don't have that chip on my shoulder. But seriously, dating someone is similar to moving in. You can't just unmove in with someone you're seeing. Yeah, you can. I've seen it happen. I actually knew a couple that moved in together, got on each other's nerves beyond all fucking belief because they rushed the move-in, moved out of the place, continued to fucking date. I know it's a rarity, but they continued to fucking date. And then a couple years later, they moved in together once they had gotten more of a feel for each other, and everything went fine. And I agree wholeheartedly with you, Michael. The Siren song is very fucking powerful. But the thing is with me, the Siren song itself, it attracts me and it repulses me at the same time. So it's my choice as to whether I go or not. Seriously, at this point, the Siren song has canceled itself out. Whenever I hear a woman talking about love, I'm all like, what's your idea of love? Come on. I'll humor you. They always fail it. They always fail that basic fucking question. And I'm sorry, I always let them know at the end of it. I'm all like, look, you're talking to a hopeless romantic. You have no fucking idea what love actually means. Bye-bye. That's usually where that conversation ends. You're either going to spend the rest of your lives together or you're going to split. This bitch, again, with the dishonesty, because, honestly, nowadays, how many marriages last lifelong unless one partner kills the other instead of divorcing them? Those are literally the only two options. Again, no. Well, Michael, I can fake love too. I fake love all the fucking time, you know? Whatever. With decades of time ahead of you, they rush into pushing... Why rush pushing other people out? Again, I covered this before. Dating is a trial run for marriage. If the person is cheating on you while you are dating, they are going to cheat on you while you are married. If the person gets on every fucking nerve that you have while dating, do you really think that's going to get better with marriage? It's not. So, again, this bitch is not coming at it from a mindset of a sane person. I don't expect her to. Estrogen is one hell of a drug. Unfortunately, half of the population is continuously overdosing daily on it. But hey, What you gonna do? I hope and assume you know this by now, but guys want whoever is least interested in them. No, that is women. What she just did there is called projection. I've never gone after a chick that, nor have I pined after a chick that had no interest in me or had an active hatred for me. At no point in my life has that ever happened to me. And I know a lot of guys sit there and look at a woman and go, oh, she isn't interested. Okay. In fact, a lot of women bitch and complain that they're interested in a guy, but they don't want to seem interested in the guy because for some odd reason they think that that's going to make the guy make the first move. No. To any women watching, at any point in the future, this is not how men work. This is how women work. Women want the guy that doesn't notice them walking into the room. Women want the guy that would sooner run them over with his truck than say hello. That's a woman thing. Are there some guys like that? Yes. But the vast majority of the guys, no. We want to go for the easy mark. You know what woman a guy's going to go after? If he walks into a room full of women, he's going to go after the woman that's naked with her legs already fucking spread eagle and her pussy already juiced up and ready to go for him. That's the one the guy's going to go after. I know that's stereotypical, but you know what? That stereotype has a place. Again, we're hardwired for that. Let's take a look at male nature. Honestly, guys, be honest with yourself. At that point, if you had full run of the room, are you going to go after the lady that is in full body armor? And I'm talking about like old knight full plate bullshit armor, right? With a chastity belt lock on the armor, then a chastity belt underneath, and barbed wire shoved up inside. Are you going to go after her, or are you going to go for the lady spread eagle? You're going to go for the lady spread eagle. There you go. Let's move on. Once you're dating, it's impossible to keep playing hard to get unless you actively work towards making yourself unavailable. It's not about being unavailable. It's about giving the other person some time off from your bullshit. That is where it is. I think later on she says that dating is a job. Oh, wait, no. It wasn't that. It was Mundane Matt that said that in another thing. I'm thinking about doing a live stream addressing where he kind of fucked up there, but anywho. It's not actively making yourself unavailable. It's being willing to give the other person some space. And maybe even needing some space to yourself, but being able to balance it. So, again, bitch is wrong. Bad advice. Any ladies that are watching? I'm pretty sure at this point, if a woman watches in the future, 99.999999999% of women would switch off well before we've reached this point. So, whatever. Guess that message ain't getting out to the vast majority of them. When you break up, you still have yourself. Oh, God. In the end, you're going to date a lot of people, and you're going to marry almost none of them. Why extend that period by fucking up what would potentially be good relationships, except for the fact that the person didn't want you going out and fucking other people? Just saying. But how many of your friends and interests are you going to shelve while placing them first? You shouldn't have to shelve your friends. If you're having to keep your significant other separate from your friends completely, either you have the shittiest fucking friends, you got something to hide, which this bitch obviously fucking does, and I'm sorry, but if you're complaining about having to shelve your interests, take a look at guys once marriage fucking comes around. Let's see. Alright, shelve while placing them first, only to realize you're boring and impossible to date afterwards. This just shows her self-projection, her self-projection onto everyone else. She actually came really close to an epiphany there. She almost realized that she is boring and impossible to date when she actually has to rely on herself and her own personality. So what she has to do is create a fake personality and then lie to herself saying that these are the reasons why guys aren't staying with her, or the reason why these relationships aren't working out, when the problem is really her. Here's a secret, ladies. Guys will fuck a whore. They'll fuck a slut. But they're not exactly wanting to take her home to mom. Michael says guys who are married want you as a single guy to get married so you can be as miserable as them. Misery does love company. Yeah, but luckily a lot of guys are sitting there and going, I saw what happened to you, fucker. Nope. But really, I'm so happy. Click, click, click. Fuck, I can't even afford the bullets because of child support payments. Guys don't want you to sleep with other people because it's the only thing they have left, they have that we don't. Bull fucking shit! That's all I'm gonna say on that. Bull fucking shit. Guys don't want you sleeping around. One, because of the whole STD thing. But two, because they don't want to raise someone's overdeveloped cum shot. Hey, Richard, how's it going? So, and once you rise above that, they realize they've lost their grip on that leash they thought was so tight. No. They realize, at that point, that you're a fucking whore. And that they don't want to be with you, and you've been wasting their fucking time. And the only positive that has come out of this is that you have been periodically draining their balls for them. Probably not worth the cost of time and resources that they have put into you. That's where guys get pissed off about that. So maybe I'm telling you this because college is behind me and most of those ties are broken anyway. No, it's because I'm looking at this woman. She's about to hit the wall. She knows she's about to hit the wall. She's reminiscing about the old days because she knows that the cock carousel is about to revoke her fucking ticket. And she wants other women to get right up to the fucking wall so she can see them scramble. Remember earlier we were talking about how misery loves company? Well, guess what? Married men want single men to get married so that way they're just as miserable as they are. Women want other women to ride the cock carousel well past the expiration of the fucking ticket so that way they'll be just as miserable, and then they can sit there and somehow try to blame men for not wanting them after they've had 4.5 miles of cock run through them. Yep. We don't want that. We don't want a woman that can sneeze and accidentally give childbirth. Once you get to that point, no. I didn't love any of the people I cheated with, and I never went on to date them in the future. Well, given your admitted track record, you don't sound like the most believable person. So I'm gonna call bullshit on that. She probably went ahead and monkey branched between all of them. But ultimately, they taught me more about myself than any of the guys I called my boyfriend. So she expects guys to teach her about herself. Alright, I'm a guy. I'll teach you about yourself, you fucking cunt. 1, you are a fucking cunt. 2, you are a cheater, and you do not deserve any level of happiness in your life at all. Period. Another thing. This woman should never, ever, ever become a mother. She will fuck those kids up. Even if the guy does manage to stay around, deal with her fucking bullshit, all that. There is no fixing that level of fuck up. Not gonna happen. Here's another fucking thing. Bitch, you're getting ready to hit the fucking wall. You're going to end up miserable. You're going to end up alone. There's not much more to teach about her. She has no fucking substance. If she has a soul, it's withered and dying. It's beyond hospice at this point. Like, it's It's doing the dying chicken thing. These are this bitch. What I am reading here. These are the words that come out of an empty husk of a person. She finishes it off with, and as far as the boyfriends are concerned, they've all slid into my DMs since. Checkmate. Because they know that you're an easy fucking lay. They're not still in love with you. Now you are a means to a good ball draining. That's all there is to it. None of them would be stupid enough to get back with you unless they were some little cuck soy boy, which is all you're going to fucking get. Any self-respecting man would not go near this bitch with a 1,000-meter pole. Michael says, my mother blamed me for ruining her life every time she got drunk, which was often. Suffice it to say, I have not seen her for many years. Oh, that's awesome. But yeah. No, it sucks that Bullet wasn't able to join us, guys. I was actually hoping Bullet would be here. Bullet's the one who actually sent that to me. Maybe next time, Bullet. I know he's playing some video games right now. I saw him on Discord. But yeah, no, the worst I've ever gotten as far as anything like that with my daughter was I've turned her and said, you know, you're the best oops I have in my life right now. That's the worst I've ever said to her. I said it to her in front of her mom. Her mom said, don't tell her she's an oops. Tell me like she was an oops. I'm being honest with her. I'm not saying that she's a bad thing in my life. I'm saying she's the best oops in my life. And my entire life is one giant oops at this point. But I hate parents that sit there and look at their kid and say, you ruined my life. I honestly hate that. It's all like, no, the kid didn't ruin your fucking life. You ruined your life by making bad decisions at bad fucking times. That's all there is to it. And even if the child is a product of rape and the woman didn't get an abortion because of religious reasons, it's still not the child that ruined her life. It was the person who raped her. So, at no point is it true to say that your child ruined your life. Now, you could sit there and say, me getting with your other parent ruined my life. That's fair enough. But that's also something that, you know, should be said, like, when, you know, the kid's a teenager and they can at least somewhat understand where that's coming from. But as a young kid, no. By the way, the e-liquid that I'm going with right now is actually pretty fucking good. It's actually a orange sherbet. Really fucking good shit. Not the best juice that I've ever fucking had. That still is that's still this shit right here. I know you guys can't see it, but it's a blueberry marshmallow ice cream thing. Really fucking good, but the orange sherbet's not bad. But no, I think it's funny because these women sit there and think that the cock carousel's always going to have just as many seats on it as it has in the past. Well, they're noticing that some of the ride is starting to shut down already. In fact, governments are having to start to actually take a look at it. I know that Japan's definitely staring at it, going, alright, what the fuck's happening here? And trying to figure out a way to fix it, but there is no fixing that shit. Well, I actually have a video from early on, from when I was doing my walking around in the front yard thing. If anyone wants to go back, if anyone from any governments watching or comes across my channel, comes across this point in the video, it's called How to Defeat MGTOW. Go ahead and watch it, because I give you at least the basic blueprint. So, have fun. Unknown. As far as the overconsumption of soy products, it's actually a really bad fucking thing. And it's really bad for someone like me, because I actually like some soy products. I haven't had soy products in a long fucking time, but every once in a while, I don't think it's gonna hurt you. But it's if you're constantly doing it, you know, like if you're constantly going out and getting soy lattes, if you're constantly eating soy, like breakfast, lunch, dinner, all that sort of thing, or if you're even doing it on a daily basis, it's a bad fucking thing for you if you're a fucking guy. I think it's a bad thing for anyone, including fucking women, because it still throws women's hormonal balance off. All things in moderation. But as far as the overconsumption of soy, a part of that is actually coming from these people trying to do these weird-ass diets. And obviously, I'm not a person that diets. I mean, look at me. I don't fucking diet. No. I mean, hell, I'm just getting off cigarettes now. But when it comes to the overconsumption of soy products, I think a lot of it is a lack of education and a lot of misinformation that's being put out there. Alright, Ultimate Sin, I gotta ask you. Do you work in Silicon Valley? If you don't feel comfortable saying that, then I fully understand. I get it. It's cool. But I gotta fucking ask. Because if you're in Silicon Valley, for one, I am so sorry that we are somewhat in the same boat. I do not live in Silicon Valley. However, I do live in California. Oh, you live in Boston. Oh, God, that's just about as bad. But yeah, no, it's because of a bunch of people sitting there and wanting to eat an alternative lifestyle. It's all like, okay, I get that, but the thing is people that want to eat and live an alternative lifestyle, if that's your choice, then fucking go for it. And I think that, you know, yeah, they should have some things that are made out of soy. But the thing is they're trying to force this alternative lifestyle, and it's because of this hippie bullshit. Michael, soy, when used properly, is good for the skin. It does help prevent acne and that sort of thing. This is true. But, and actually it's even better for skin elasticity, in other words, not getting wrinkles. But there is a high level of basically estrogen in it. And the thing is your body does absorb that. And the way that estrogen and testosterone work with each other is, if you start intaking high level, like let's say you got both of them right here, right? Let's say for some odd reason your body's normal, because you know, a man, you know, their testosterone's going to be high, their estrogen is going to be low. A woman, it's going to be different. But let's say you're in the middle. You start increasing estrogen, your testosterone goes down. It's basically a zero-sum game in theory. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, but the thing is the two have to fight. And the thing is that actually puts a lot of stress onto multiple organs of yours as a male. Believe it or not, one of them is your adrenal glands. Because testosterone actually is produced in the adrenal glands, as well as the testicles. But believe it or not, the adrenal glands are involved in that process. Michael says the fast food industries are up in arms because the young people won't eat there as much as the bastards want. Well, to a degree, I agree with that. But here's the thing. You as a man, you are actually better off eating fast food than all soy products. Well, actually, increased estrogen in men actually causes weight gain as well, especially around the perennial area, parenteal, I believe. And this is where men actually build up fat, and it's actually a really bad fucking thing. Because the thing is when you get that, it can actually cause fluid buildup, which can actually cause a lot of really big issues for you. It can cause issues with your liver. It can cause issues with your kidneys, your circulatory system, just all around. It can actually cause issues with your legs. It can cause ED. I mean, there's a lot of things that are just going to fuck with you when it comes to over-consuming soy. But again, soy every once in a while, if you eat something with soy in it, you're not going to instantly grow moobs and fucking all of a sudden your dick shrink to half a fucking inch and women are sitting there going, oh, I'm more hung than you. You're not going to get that situation. But what you're going to get is you're going to start seeing your energy go down. You're going to start into mood swings. You're going to start seeing all these different things if you continuously eat soy products. Either that, or you're going to start losing muscle mass very, very quickly. You're going to start losing bone mass very, very quickly. You have a higher chance of cancer. You have a higher chance of renal failure. You have a higher chance of liver disease. I mean, it's just problem after problem after problem. And I am by no means a health nut. I'm not. But I'm not a big fan of people toying with their own chemistry. I'm really not a fan of that because I've seen the damage that that can do to people, and it absolutely fucking sucks. And yes, this is coming from someone who's quitting smoking. This is coming from someone who is vaping. This is coming from someone who smoked tons of weed in the past. Soy is exceedingly damaging. In all honesty, I think someone's better off eating fast food than eating strictly soy. Even women. Well, actually, Chinese food isn't necessarily low in fat. It's actually low in saturated fat. There's a big difference between the two. Saturated fat is the type of fat that you really want to kind of leave at the table because, you know, that's when you get, you know, HDL buildup, all that sort of shit. You know, you get plaque buildup in your veins. You get, of course, actual fat. Because your body can't really burn it off. Your body's all like, I don't know what to do with this. I'll just put it over here. It also, when you burn that fat, it actually creates a lot of really toxic chemicals in your body. There's a lot that goes into it, but the thing is fat itself is not bad. Saturated fats you want to cut back on. So eating stuff like chicken and all that tends to be a little bit better than, you know, eating stuff like red meats, because red meats have more saturated fat in them. Of course, if you're frying the chicken, well, you know, all that health benefit gone. I mean, just don't eat like a typical American on either side of the spectrum, and you should be fairly good to go, especially if you have a somewhat active life. You don't have to be the most active person out there. Like with me, yeah, I'm fat. I weigh about 250 pounds at this point. But the thing is the vast majority of my fat is on my face and on my stomach. My legs have almost no fat on them. My arms have almost no fat on them. It's mainly here and here. Hell, I barely even have fat on my ass. I barely have an ass as it is. Yes, Mr. H, that is true. Trans fat is the worst one. It is in the saturated fats, but because of that, that partial hydrogenation of it, it makes it very difficult for it to be oxidized or burned in the body, and therefore, even when it is burned, you actually end up getting water buildup as a thing. And some people are like, well, your body handles water just fine. Tell that to someone with pneumonia. Or any pulmonary disease whatsoever. You know? And for people who don't know, pulmonary actually refers to the lungs, not to the heart. It's not pulmonary, it's pulmonary. Lungs. I wouldn't call myself young. I'm 32. And with the way that I've been living my life, I'm probably not going to make it much past 60. To be perfectly honest. I mean, hell, I was smoking cigarettes like a chimney for 15 years. And actually, cooking from scratch is actually really, really good. Just make sure you're using good quality products. Like me, when I cook, I tend to cook from scratch. Like when I get serious about it. But the thing is even in the US, cooking from scratch is difficult. Like getting actual honey here, getting full-fledged honey, very, 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 very difficult. I know over in the UK, and I think several places in the EU right now. And I know that the UK's trying to leave the EU, but you guys are all sorts of fucked up right now when it comes to that. At least from what I've been hearing. But over there, at least you guys got honey, right? Yeah, Turbattle. Yes, vegetables are expensive. But the thing is a lot of people sit there and go, "Oh, I only eat organic vegetables." It's all like, you do realize that the vast majority of those organic vegetables didn't have the stuff sprayed directly on them, but they were watered with runoff water from a field that did have that, and so those plants still have them. Kind of pointless. You're paying extra for nothing, for no health benefit. California should have cheap produce, except for the fact that Southern California keeps killing off all of our crops. Well, Michael, for you over there, for something to be declared honey, it has to be at least 80% honey. The rest can be like sucralose or something like that. Over here, they can sit there and say that something is honey when there is absolutely no honey in it. The FDA allows that. It can basically be syrup. And they can actually say that it is honey. Unknown, I don't know if I would consider myself a monk. I don't see myself getting into a relationship anytime soon. Um, I'm not necessarily a monk, but I fully understand where monks are coming from. Um, if I was to meet a woman that was able to somehow prove that she was at least somewhat legit, then I might give her a chance, but marriage is out of the question. Marriage is completely out of the question. And if she sits there and asks me about marriage, I'll sit there and go, you knew what you were signing up for, and I'll take this as your 2-week notice. Bye. What's up, Neo? How's it going, man? But yeah, actually, I am a hopeless romantic. And I will always be that way. I have always been that way. I have been that way since I was really, really, really young. Um, in fact, when I was a kid, I loved chick flicks. I know that I probably shouldn't be admitting that. That takes away a lot of MGTOW cred from me. But you know, when I was a kid, I loved chick flicks. But now, if I go back and watch those chick flicks, I'm sitting there looking at it going, this isn't a romance movie. This is a fucking horror story. Why in the fuck did I like this shit? It was horrible. Like, I ended up watching Titanic again last year, actually. Oh god, I was sitting there, I was all like, oh, he should have just let her fucking jump. He should have pushed her. Something tells me that that entire ship wouldn't have gone down if she had gone over the edge. This bitch was on so many levels of evil. She brought that on the ship. You know what I mean? That was kind of... I was a little drunk when I was thinking it, but I was like, oh my god, why? It was funny because my buddy that I was watching it with, he was just sitting there going, holy shit, I just wanted to see what it would be like to see a MGTOW watching Titanic. But, no, it's absolutely... Uh, like with me, I had heard about MGTOW slightly before my last relationship. I had heard of it, but I hadn't really paid much attention to it. But the thing is after that, I really started looking into MGTOW, and I was like, oh, yeah. And like, as I was hearing other people's horror stories, I mean, I went to MGTOW.com, you know, and, yeah, like, I couldn't read 3/4 of the horror stories there because I just started getting so enraged. Not out of some sort of moral reason, it was because a lot of them was reopening up old wounds from old relationships. Like, maybe one of these times I should go ahead and start a live stream and just sit there and talk about past relationships I had. Tell you guys what happened to me in each of these fucking relationships, because unfortunately I have a mind like a bear trap when it comes to the negative shit. Hey, Black Sand, how's it going? Ghost was actually pretty good. I will openly admit that, Neo. I actually I actually do like Ghost. But maybe I should go ahead and do a live stream like that, just so you guys can kind of get an idea of where I'm coming from and how I got to being a MGTOW. Some people say that I actually got to MGTOW early on in the dating scene. I don't think so. I think I became MGTOW way too late. The proper time to become MGTOW is before you date, in my opinion. Funny thing is a couple of my past girlfriends have actually ran across my channel. My ex that I have a kid with came across my channel and promptly got herself banned because she started fucking lying. And I'm all like, you know what? No, you lie about me in real life. You fucking dog on me every opportunity that you get there. I'm the one in control here. Nothing you can say is going to stop me from doing this. And I felt so fucking good banning her from this. Because my YouTube channel is one of my escapes from her. To be perfectly honest. I mean, she's now started leaving me alone for the most part. And we act somewhat kosher toward each other for our daughter's sake. But that's about it. It's the only reason why there's any kosherness there. It's kind of funny when I sat there and I decided to be fully fucking honest with her before I even started up my YouTube channel. I was all like, look, you hate my guts. I hate your guts. We're on the same footing there. How about this? We act kosher around each other for our daughter's sake. We don't talk smack to our daughter about the other person. And we just let the other live their life. As long as it's not negatively affecting our daughter, there we go. And me, I went MGTOW when I was 31. I think it was last year. But no. I still think that it's funny that this channel wasn't actually intended to be a MGTOW channel. This channel was actually meant to be just a general overall channel. I mean, it still kind of is. I still talk about a bunch of different shit. But a lot of my content is MGTOW content. Some people have been asking me why I don't, you know, stream on Twitch so I can go ahead and make money and all that sort of thing. Well, take a look at what happened with Twitch. I saw it fucking coming. I'm all like, honestly, there's really no way I could make any real money off of doing MGTOW content. The closest that I could do is Patreon, and honestly, I don't really think that I have high enough quality production values to sit there and say, hey, would you guys give me, $1 a month or something like that? I think that would be actually really unfair. But also at the same time, I'm starting to make some better decisions for myself. I mean, I've started vaping. I'm giving up cigarettes. When I started vaping, I started out at 18 milligrams. Then I dropped down to 12 milligrams. I'm now down to 6 milligrams. I'm planning pretty soon on dropping down to 3 milligrams and then hopefully 1.5 and then none. I'll probably continue to vape because vaping's just fucking amazing. Not to mention I can vape in my house guilt-free. Because, I mean, the worst thing I'm doing is making the house smell better. Yeah, seriously. Seriously, Mr. H. And Michael, I'm glad that you now have money in a life. I really am. I'm always glad to hear someone be able to do that. Me, I don't have money. I guess you could argue that I kind of have a life, but I'm also not the most social person, so people are like, oh, you never have a life, you never go out with your friends. It's all like, I go out with some friends from time to time. But I prefer to hang out with my cousin because me and him are more like brothers. So that's pretty much how we were raised. Even though he's from Southern California, I'm from Northern California, the two of us agree on 99.9% of shit. But he came from down in the San Diego area. And so even though he was raised down in Southern California primarily, well, it was still a conservative area. Yeah, Michael, I know, but the thing is with Twitch, I don't know if you've heard their recent policy changes. Basically, if I was to sit there and go on and say half the shit that I say, I could get my channel fucking banned. Also, another thing is, like, let's say I was to go on there and someone was to come in. Like, I would have to make sure to have someone moderate. I would have to have that. Because if someone came in and started saying, Hitler did nothing wrong, someone trying to troll, I'd actually have to crack down on trolls. I rarely crack down on trolls here on this channel. I've only had to crack down on a few people. And when it comes to video games, I mean, I haven't really been playing video games. I mean, I've played a little bit of Rainbow Six Siege recently and a little bit of Minecraft, but I mean, I'm not playing Warframe all the time anymore. I'm not playing Ark all the time anymore. In fact, I've hardly played any video games. Like, I think the last time I actually legit played a video game it was about half a week ago. Maybe more. But I'm actually looking at all the stuff that's going on. Like, I've gotten kind of embroiled in politics lately, and I've been wanting to do a lot more live streams, but it's all like, they're all going to be going towards politics, like, gun regulation, vaping regulation. But one thing I am going to bring up with politics, a little bit of good news for the sane people in California, Trump might actually be doing something right. I mean, he's been on a little bit of a what the fuck streak lately with me. But he might actually be doing something right. He actually might be utilizing something in the Constitution that allows him to unilaterally come in and take out our people in government here in California and force a new government to be made because of them going through and just being straight up defiant and not helping ICE. In fact, forbidding people from helping ICE warning people about raids, about all these different things. And quite frankly, at that point, you could even sit there and argue that their gun laws here are unconstitutional. So that's actually kind of cool. I really hope that happens, and that might actually cause California to have to split, which would be, again, amazing. If we have a Northern California and a Southern California, oh my god, that would be the best thing to happen to our politics in this country. Because right now, California is one of the major states that actually is a big deciding factor in who becomes president. And the thing is all of the conservative voices here, even though there's quite a few of them here, get drowned out by liberal voices because we're not a shared vote state. And so the thing is if 51% of our population votes for a candidate, all of our electoral votes go to that candidate. And conservatives have been going, we've had no voice in politics in our own state for forever. Not since Reagan. Reagan was the last time that conservatives had any power in California. Yeah, exactly, Black Sand. And the thing is the cool thing is if Trump does go through with that, these people won't just be removed from office, they'll actually be thrown into prison. It's part of the thing. They'll be thrown into prison. It's basically a step down from treason. So I would absolutely love to fucking see that. Because the thing is the people that we have in power right now aren't even legitimately in there. Because we've been taking, people have been going ahead and taking a look at the voting in California. California is one of the most corrupt states for voting. I think every one of those politicians needs to be thrown in prison and get a daily booster shot from a pretty lady named Bubba. Then they can go ahead and tell us whether or not they think someone purposely passing on HIV to them is equivalent to a slap in the face. When they get out and all their assets have been seized because it was all illegitimately gained. Yep, they found votes in the Bay. A bunch of dead people voted multiple fucking times in our state. They found ripped ballots that weren't counted because there was a little tear in them. And the tear just magically was in is magically in the same spot, right in the fucking middle, just a little tear in the top. Amazing how that works, and all of them were conservative votes. Actually, Northern is also part of the farming area. Michael. It's the way that California is actually really broken down, like in a lot of people's minds, is you have northern, mid, and southern, just because it's so big. But honestly, politically, there is a split. Once you get down halfway through mid, basically at the Grapevine, that's where conservative land stops, and that's where liberal Looney Town begins. There are a few liberal sections up in the northern part, and there are a few conservative sections down in the lower part, but for the most part, it's an even split. Well, Black Sand, the way that they know is that is actually considered a part of the public record. The numbers and all that, and the results, all of those are part of it, and people have actually been looking into the programming on there, and they've been noticing some, let's call them indiscrepancies. They've been noticing that different shit's been done. That some emails have come out that have been really fucked up. Oh my god, it's horrible. But when it comes down to gun regulation, honestly, at this point, I don't trust the conservatives with it, and I don't trust the liberals with it. At this point, we need a centralist government. We need a centralist government to come in and get rid of negative shit that the conservatives have put in and some negative shit that the liberals have put in. Because right now, I really don't see how any of this is going to jive for any amount of time without throwing us into a all-new civil war. Oh, Michael, I cannot blame you for being sick and tired of the bullshit that's going on over in Britain. I really, I can't. Did you hear about you guys banning Lauren Southern from the UK, saying that she was a threat to your way of life? That's some fucking shit, isn't it? I mean, I guess you can call me Captain Save-A-Ho, but honestly, at this point, if I was to have any woman in my country, it would be Lauren Southern. That woman has some fucking balls, let's be honest. And she's pretty fucking attractive, too. I'd tap it. But in all honesty, at this point, I'm just kind of getting so sick and tired of all the same hoopla. It's like both sides are saying the same fucking thing. They're just saying it in different ways, and people are thinking they're saying different shit. I'm like, what? Like the only one who's saying different shit is Donald Trump himself. The rest of his cabinet's sitting there going, "What the fuck are you doing, dude? Status quo! Status quo!" Yeah, because that's the reason why that's the reason why we put Trump in there, was because we wanted to keep the status quo. No, we wanted a big fucking change. But what would be awesome is if Trump does enact that part of the Constitution that allows him to come in and fuck up our government in a good way. Then we'll go ahead and get Gowdy on the case, and that'll be freaking amazing. Sorry, my neck's out, and I'm trying to get it to go back in. Faith Goldie. Name sounds very familiar. 1 second. See what's going on here. Let's see. Images. Faith. Oh, yeah. Yeah, from, wasn't she fired from, wasn't she fired from the Rebel because she actually decided to talk with, some legit white supremacists? Actually, Michael, she is. She's completely banned. She is not allowed in. Period. They stopped her at the border and then kicked her out and said, good luck. Well, I know that her and Lauren Southern are pals. I mean, a lot of people in the anti-SJW camp are pals, even if they don't fully agree on everything. But honestly, Faith Goldie was the only reason why I watched The Rebel. I never listened to The Rebel other than her. But when the Rebel got rid of her, I lost all respect for them. I was all like, because of the reason why they got rid of her. I'm all like, really? She was actually reporting on shit. What, she said something that you don't agree with, and so she deserves to be fired? And great job being exactly like the SJWs that you fucking hate. Oh, someone said something I don't agree with. Burn them at the stake! And if that's not allowed, then you just go ahead and attack their livelihood. But I mean, at this point, I look at the Rebel the same way I look at the Young Turks. I just don't. I don't trust a single thing that they say anymore. Everyone's all like, "Oh, take it with a grain of salt." It's all like, look at me. I'm fucking fat. I need to decrease my sodium intake anyway. Here you are telling me to fucking drastically increase my sodium intake with as much shit as they fucking talk about. I don't know if she's allowed in Ireland, Mr. H. I do not know. I know that she just got banned from the UK. Black Sand, I'm pretty fucking sure that in England, if civil war breaks out, the government there is gonna sit there and say, fuck the pretense, and they're gonna sit there, arm their fucking police, and send them out to randomly shoot people. That's just how England is. That's one of the reasons why the US said, fuck this. I mean, hell, if they're sitting there and they're banning people from coming in because people are saying the wrong fucking thing, you really think they're going to take kindly to white people actually standing up for themselves in any sort of violent way? No. But, well, Michael, you can't say that anymore. Because the thing is if England was to go ahead and do it old school, then y'all wouldn't have the whole terrorist problem that you got going on. Because old school England would have looked at that situation and went, yeah, we know what the problem element is, and we're driving it out. England doesn't exactly have a history of acceptance of terrorist activity. But the thing is when you come down to, and I'm trying to stop with the thing is thing. I'm really trying. I think it's a fucking nervous stutter. Sorry, guys. I'm honestly trying to stop, but it's a really bad habit. I know someone was complaining about that before in one of my videos in one of the comment sections. But when it comes down to it, I really don't think that people are going to are really going to be able to do too much over there. I mean, don't get me wrong, damage will be done, but I really don't think that too much is going to end up actually getting accomplished by a civil war in England unless it gets really fucking bloody really fucking fast. But, and honestly, I don't know if England does. Hey, Michael, does England have, like, a FEMA equivalent? Or did you just leave that up to the Germans? And to anyone watching, I actually don't have a problem with British. I really don't. In fact, I tend to have a lot of respect for British. Just recently, that respect's been waning a little bit. And I'm a snarky bastard, so... yeah. Alright. Says Jack Boots at dawn, and that is the state. Yeah. Right now, I wouldn't really be too afraid of your government at this point, because your government's proven that they're fairly fucking spineless. Like, the only way that your government would be able to actually enforce anything is if you continue to sit there and follow their bullshit laws, which it seems like a lot of people are really getting sick and tired of. And we're starting to see a high increase in the value of the term "fuck it" over there. The only way that the government would be able to handle any sort of mass uprising is by actually intervention from the European Union with their new army. At which point the US would sit there and look and go, UK, do you need help, or is this the lesser of two evils type of thing? Because if you don't need help, we're just going to stop trading with you. I still think that it's funny that right now the US is on friendlier terms with Russia than it is with the UK. That amazes me. I never expected to see that. Ever. Ever. But all I know is here in the US, we're getting ready for our own civil war. I mean, you can see all the fucking signs. They're all fucking there. You got civil disobedience going on all over the place. You have violent protests popping up all over the place. Racism is on the fucking rise. And I'm talking about legit fucking racism. It's on the fucking rise because of all the gender and all that sort of shit politics. But the biggest fucking sign is you're starting to see the conservatives stand up for themselves. That is never a good sign in America. You know things are at least somewhat okay when the conservatives are sitting back and just taking the abuse. That's always been the fucking history of it. As soon as the conservatives start to stand up for themselves, that's when you know shit has gone tits upward. And I am in no way a history buff, but every single time we've had a major issue in the US, any major conflict on our own soil, it's always been because the conservatives finally decided to stand up and say, Daddy's home. Well, we wouldn't be going to war with South Korea. We'd be going to war with North Korea. But I've already made my opinion of that known. I've said it to several fucking people. I'll say it here. Don't know if I've ever said it on a video before, but Trump has several issues facing him. One is the whole Kim Jong-un bullshit with launching missiles over Japan, and Japan getting a little bit skittish about it. And then there's also the worry of the U.S. Needing some fucking money, right? And then we got the problem here in California. I can solve all three of those problems right here, right now. What Trump needs to do is he needs to get on the phone with North Korea and say, hey, I have a business proposition for you. I am willing to rent out California as your nuclear testing ground. Pay us this much. There you go. You just solved a bunch of problems with one fucking phone call. The libtardation levels will go down very quickly in our country. California can actually become a dystopian, post-apocalyptic wasteland like it's trying to make itself into. The U.S. can make money. North Korea is happy because they're getting to do their nuclear testing and all that. And now California has bigger fucking problems to worry about than whether or not a AR-15 is too scary looking to be allowed to be had by the general public. So, I'm just saying, a lot of problems could be solved with a single fucking phone call. Yo, Solitude, what's up, man? How's it going? Not much, just having a live stream, and I'm letting this one kind of run long. Just because, just talking about some random stuff right now, talking about some politics that are going on over in Britain, over here in the U.S., I just brought up a solution to multiple problems with one single action. Dude, if I ever became president, I would cry for this country because at that point, this country would be on the way to a civil war because I would kick it off myself. Just to get it done and over with. Yeah, no, losing Samsung would fucking suck. But you know what? I think we'd live. Honestly, at this point, I would love to see the U.S. get away from foreign markets for a little bit and actually focus on its own internals. I forget who it was. I think it was Raging Golden Eagle who was talking about how the U.S. was a big draw for the best and the brightest for the longest fucking time. And that's one of the reasons why our STEM fields have been so fucking strong, you know? And I agree with that. And right now, we're sitting here and with these bullshit policies with our big tech companies here and with colleges and all of that, we're now putting out a message that we don't want the best and brightest here, that they aren't welcome here, there's no place for them here, and so our best and brightest are going over to other fucking countries where they're all like, hey, we'll take you, where the companies there are sitting there going, yes, please! Please catapult us even farther into the fucking lead. But honestly, at this point, Raging Golden Eagle also brought up a really, really good point. And that is the hiring practice, like diversity hiring itself, is actually technically illegal. Because you are not allowed to discriminate based off of gender, skin color, or whatever. You're not allowed to discriminate based off of that. Whether you are fully functional or not, it doesn't fucking matter. If someone sits there and says, nah, sorry, you know, you're able to fucking walk, therefore you cannot have this job, unless there is something very specific that says that someone who can walk cannot do that job, it's discrimination. And if it can be proven by looking at your hiring practices or whatever, like with Google, that you're discriminating based off of one of these things, it's actually illegal. And yeah, people can sue them, but honestly, at this point, I think the government should step in and go, look, you haven't been correcting these practices. You are continuously breaking the law. Here's the thing. Either you get rid of that shit and prove that you've gotten rid of that shit, or we will shut down your business by seizing all of your assets. And I'm not for government intervention in business. I'm really not. But right now, that's the only way I really see this going. Get the guy well muffed. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. Mexico will become Techico in 1 year. Oh, God. Right? But no, a lot of people here are actually wanting to flee the country. It's not just wanting to get out of California. There's a lot of people here that are wanting to move to other countries, but we're all like, where do we go? There's a lot of the people here, they want to flee the country because they're all like, we're sick and tired of them taking away our only way of defending ourselves, and then they look at other countries and they're all like, well, shit. That's the reason why if I was to ever, like, flee this country to move to another country, I'd be all like, please, Poland, take me. Yeah, a lot of people are actually fleeing up to Canada, but the thing is not all the people that are coming from the U.S. to Canada are from the U.S. In fact, there's kind of a pipeline that's going through the U.S. to allow illegals to just kind of skip over the U.S. to get into Canada. Yes, Black Sand, there are a lot of homeless people here in California, but it's because the thing is, if you're homeless in California, here's the thing. If you're in Northern California, you are fucked. If you are homeless. You are completely fucked in Northern California. But the thing is, there are some homeless people that are better off in Southern California than people who have jobs, have homes, and all that up here in Northern California. Sad state of affairs. But there are more protections for the homeless down in Southern California than there are up here for productive members of society. But here's the thing. Even the homeless up here produce the same amount as a lot of these libtards. It's just instead of what they're producing coming out of their mouth, like the libtards, it's coming out the other end. But what really pisses me off about California is we're sitting here saying, oh yeah, you're an illegal alien, here's a driver's license, here's the right to vote, here's this, here's that, here's all this handout shit. And then they see a homeless citizen, a natural-born citizen of our country, of the state, saying, hey, could I get some help? And they sit there and tell him, no, because you're privileged. As the illegal that's been here for 2 months drives by in a fucking Porsche. Really? Michael, I don't catch your drift. I mean, I'm not saying that Poland's a superpower, but I don't necessarily want to be part of a superpower at this point. Because I'm looking at all the superpowers, and they're all equally fucked up, just in different ways. Like here in the US, they say that it's perfectly fine for someone to go around and purposely spread HIV. Over in Russia, you can get arrested for playing Pokemon Go in a church. And over in Britain, well, let's just say this. You better not have a fucking daughter. And all day, no, I do not vape herb right now because I'm actually going to be going out looking for a job because now my dad's gotten to the point where he's not needing 24-hour care anymore. And so, and hopefully, update guys, hopefully my dad will be able to get a kidney soon. So that's fucking awesome. That was actually some good news that we got. Bad news is, it means my family's going to be in a lot of debt. So that means I'm going to be having to go out and make a lot of fucking money to go ahead and do that. So if I end up going ahead, getting 1 or 2 jobs, you guys might be hearing a little less from me. But hell, you might be hearing more from me because I might need to be venting more. Did Russia outlaw feminism? Oh, please say that that's true and you're not just joking with me. Because at that point, that makes Russia a place I could move. Oh, yeah. Okay, I get you, Michael. But the thing is, if I can go ahead and get myself a job or two that are perfectly fine with me, taking part in the newly legal recreational marijuana laws here, then I will start vaping herb. That will be a fucking thing. I miss a ganja. See, giving up weed was really fucking easy for me, but good God, do I miss it. I mean, I never went through any withdrawals. It wasn't hard for me to put it down. But, I mean, it's not like quitting cigarettes. Oh, they locked up a feminist for going against the state? Nifty. But if I can go ahead and get myself a job that's cool, like working at a vape shop or something like that, oh, dude. Yeah. I mean, I won't be going to work high or anything like that, but when I'm home, you bet. Yeah, well, the reason why I gave up smoking weed was because I was around. I had my daughter. That was the main reason. I was like, shit, gotta stay on the ball. I had my daughter. I knew how much taking care of an infant was draining on you, and how you actually had to have full consciousness for it. And at that point, it was actually illegal. So the thing is, if someone caught me smoking, then I could have lost access to my daughter. Whereas now that it's legal, I could go ahead and do it, and no one could say anything. I'd be all like, "What law am I breaking?" And you will never see dreads on me. Ever. Ever, Michael. Ever. Well, here's the thing. Like, I don't disagree with you, Solitude. But at the same time, it's not so much that people are held hostage by other people's social habits. It's that they allow themselves to get drawn into said social habits. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting there and saying everyone should smoke weed. There are a few people that I've met that definitely should never smoke weed. Unknown, I have never thought about dreads because it's never been a thing to interest me, and I could not see myself looking good with them. My facial features don't match up with it. My personality doesn't match up with it. So, it's not a thing. Not to mention, in California, I could probably be arrested for it for being culturally insensitive if I was to do the whole dread thing. Hell, pretty soon they're going to outlaw this, I'm assuming. Going to somehow find it culturally insensitive. But the thing is when I go again, I'm doing it again. But when I go ahead and and I look at something like marijuana, I think that it's funny that marijuana is rated higher on the illegal spectrum than methamphetamines. Let that sink in. And as far as strains, like I said, it's been a while since I smoked, but the strains that I really liked was White Widow, of course Orange Kush, because come the fuck on, you know, and I'm in California, so I'm close enough to where it was cheap. I also liked Cindy 99, Moonlight Stroll, and yeah, I know Moonlight Stroll is part of the Cindy 99 strain. And my way that I used to smoke it, I would smoke joints, I would smoke out of a pipe, I would smoke out of a bong. I preferred the bong, in all honesty, unless I was wanting to get fucked up really, really fucking fast, then it was the fucking steamroller. And I will never do a gravity bong again. Ever. Ever. No thanks. Even in my younger years, I was all like, no. Anything that could have the possibility of putting me into the fetal position was not on my list of things to do. And yeah, Mr. H, it is because it threatens Big Pharma. Because the thing is it would take the place of a lot of drugs. It does have a lot of medicinal uses, but I don't argue for it on the case of medicinal use. I argue on the case of recreational use. I'm very different from a lot of people who are trying to get weed legalized federally. And my argument is weed is less damaging to you than a lot of things that are legal. It is less damaging to you than tobacco. It is less damaging to you than alcohol. So, and by less damaging, I mean it's been linked to less diseases. So, if those things are legal, why would pot be illegal? Well, there's several reasons. One, they don't have a accurate way of testing whether or not you're under the influence, like with alcohol. So if you're driving while intoxicated, it's kind of a thing. But as the technology for that gets better, they have less of an excuse. Another reason is because of Big Pharma. Big Pharma doesn't want people to be able to self-medicate. They want you to have to come to them for your fix. Also, another thing is our government is not in the business of keeping people happy. It's in the business of keeping them complacent. Because if people are happy, then they're not going to have the conflict there, which will allow them to have the constant expansion of government. So, they don't want people happy, they want people complacent. There is a difference between complacency and happiness. But Big Pharma, I guarantee you, Big Pharma and Big Tobacco, but Big Pharma is definitely a huge part in it. In fact, they're playing a bigger part in it than Big Tobacco. Is the reason why they're trying to say that this shouldn't be allowed. That you should have to have a prescription for this. And you see, I don't have a problem, Solitude, with the whole driving while high thing, because that is a dangerous thing. And this is coming from someone who in my younger years did make some stupid decisions. I did drive high. Funny thing is, though, is my friends preferred me driving high as to me driving sober, because one, I didn't road rage when I was high. And second, I did not speed. I went exactly the speed limit. There was only one time that I went too slow, and it wasn't that I was high. That wasn't the problem. The problem was I was crossfaded. And for those who don't know, crossfading is when you've got two substances in your system. I was crossfaded on marijuana and on alcohol. Not a good combination for driving. I was going down a 45-mile-an-hour street at 10 miles an hour. The maximum speed I got to, I think, was 15. I felt like I was screaming down that fucking road. And yes, Mr. H, I did. I know a lot of people that are the same fucking way. Why? Because they don't want to get caught. They're paranoid. They're all like, okay. The funniest thing is the easiest way to pass a driving test, because anyone will tell you, driving tests are infinitely more stressful than actually driving. That driving test sucks, because they want you to do all this shit. Like, when you're doing a driving test, like, when you're regular driving, you sit there, you got your eyes forward, you might check your rearview mirrors every once in a while, you know, you shift your eyes, and that sort of thing. They want to see head movement. I'm all like, why am I going to move my head to shift my gaze down to this, and then have to move my head to shift my eyes back up, shift my head to look down at my speed and all my gauges, then shift my head back up, shift my head again to look in this rearview mirror and this rearview mirror, and shift my head back, and do that every, like, 30 fucking seconds. Why would I fucking do that? I mean, why? All that's doing is splitting my attention between a bunch of different shit and making it so I'm not paying enough attention to any of it. But the thing is, I don't like driving while crossfaded, because I just don't have the mental capacity at that point. I don't crossfade anyway. Like even back when I was smoking, I crossfaded twice. Once was with that driving experience. The other time, I stayed at home. I was in my house the whole time. Never left the house. But the thing that went wrong with it was, I was having a hard time making myself a fucking Hot Pocket. Oh no, it wasn't a Hot Pocket. It was a cheese quesadilla in the microwave. So I wasn't even like frying it up in a pan or anything like that. Because I got up, went in, started grabbing the shit out of the refrigerator. I had the plate already on the table. Started grabbing the shit out of the refrigerator, and all of a sudden, I just started feeling really fucking heavy. And I'm not talking about me suddenly sitting there and feeling like I was fat. I mean, my arms started feeling heavy, my legs started feeling heavy, my steps started getting sluggish, my head started feeling heavy. I went back walking into the living room because I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Next thing I know, I plopped down on the couch. I laid there for about 5 seconds, and all of a sudden I felt perfectly fine. Got back up, went back into the kitchen, started making the shit. It took me 12 fucking trips to make a cheese quesadilla and get everything put away and get that cheese quesadilla back into the living room. Well, the thing is we actually had one of those armbands. We actually had something to go ahead and take our blood pressure. Well, I ended up putting that on. My blood pressure, when I stood up, because when I was laying down, it was perfectly fine. When I was sitting there, it was a little low, but still fine. I stood up and then tested my blood pressure, waited while standing up because I figured if I passed out, I'd plop onto the couch. No big deal. My blood pressure was dangerously fucking low. Nope. Never did it again. That scared the living shit out of me. I'm like, no, I do that again, I'm dead. And I'm sorry, you know what? Hearing about a fat man that died because his blood pressure was too low? I do not want a medical journal written about me because I got high and drunk at the same time. That's not what I want to be remembered for. Oh yeah, when it was funny because one of my friends actually didn't smoke weed, but always hung around me while I was high. And the funny thing was I actually started describing molecular gastronomy to them. I didn't know what molecular gastronomy was, but I started thinking on that level when I was sitting there coming up with new shit out of nothing. I mean, when I had just different odds and ends and that sort of thing in the house, I was all like, okay, I know I can make something edible out of this. I know I can. Let's start talking flavor profiles. And all my friends always sat there and laughed their asses off because I always managed to come up with something that tasted good, no matter what you threw at me. Oh yeah, the munchies. Oh my god, the munchies. But no, it's funny. I had never heard of monkey bread before. I came up with my own version of monkey bread before I even knew what monkey bread was. I described it to one of my friends. He's like, "Oh, you made monkey bread." I'm like, "What's monkey bread?" They explained it to me. I'm like, "That's a lot simpler than what I made. I do not have that simple shit in my house." But what I'm curious about is if weed was fully legalized, like they just sat there and said, look, we're not going to do anything about it unless you're driving while under the influence, which we're going to fucking know. If we were to get to that point, I want to know, would fast food business go up or down? I'm legit asking. Because the thing is, yeah, I would go to Taco Bell every once in a while, don't get me wrong. You know, if I was feeling particularly lazy, or if there was literally just ketchup and mayonnaise in the house and that was it. Alright, yeah, I'd hit up some Taco Bell. But the vast majority of the time, I preferred to make my stuff at home because I didn't want to go out. Because I didn't want to risk getting caught. Of course, that had to do with it being illegal. But the thing is even if it's regulated the same way as with alcohol, it's illegal for you to be drunk in public. Like, you're not allowed to go to a store drunk. If a cop sees you, he can arrest your ass and throw you in the tank for the night. So, yeah, no, I saw that, Solitude. I saw a few reports on that. Some people were saying that the kiosk taking your order, or ordering from your phone, and that sort of thing. I heard all that was starting to kind of take over, and I'm like, uh-oh. Gender studies degrees just got one less job. Actually, you know what my favorite thing to make when I was high was? I would actually go outside grab my Dutch oven from the garage that I used for camping and Boy Scouts. I'd grab my Dutch oven, and I would go ahead and make some pizza crust. Well, not pizza crust, but some dough. Put it in the bottom after spraying it with some oil to make sure that it didn't stick. And then I go ahead, put in toppings and that sort of thing. Put the top on, and I would either put it into the oven, which does work, or I would go outside, light a fire if it was burn time. There was one time our oven was actually on the fritz, and so I actually went out and threw it into the barbecue. That was one of my favorite fucking things, was to make Dutch oven pizza. If you've never had Dutch oven pizza, and you have a Dutch oven, what you need to do is you need to make yourself a Dutch oven pizza. It's one of the most amazing things out there. And it's almost impossible to burn it. That's the cool part because of the way that the Dutch oven works. Because the thing is all the flavors from all the toppings and that sort of thing actually seep in, especially if you put pepperoni on and all that sort of shit, and you don't just go with cheese. I'm a cheese pizza type of person, but with a Dutch oven pizza, no, I want olives. I want fucking all sorts of toppings. Basically everything other than onions and pineapple at that point. Yeah, all day, unfortunately, delivering pizzas around here, not worth it. Because for one, a lot of the people that order pizzas, well, they live in areas where you don't want to get out the car. Not to mention, people around here, oh, a lot of people around here have to work their asses off for their money, so they're not exactly willing to, you know, kick a few extra dollars to you all that often for poor career choice. AKA tipping. Not to mention around here, you have to pay for your own gas. The company does not pay for your gas for you. You use your own vehicle, therefore you have to do your own maintenance on your own vehicle. It's a really fucked up situation. It's kind of like with delivering newspapers. I actually used to deliver newspapers for more than a couple months, and dude, I don't see how that's fucking legal, because what they do for delivering papers anyway, they don't actually hire you. What they do is you are a individual contractor with them, and they have every right to completely fuck you in the ass every step of the fucking way. That's basically how delivering newspapers is around here. I don't know what it's like in other areas, but around here, basically, the only time you make money is with your tax write-offs. The government actually ends up paying you to do the job for the newspaper company. That's how it ends up coming about. So it's... oof. I actually have a Dutch oven up in my cupboard up here, along with a cast iron flat grill, as well as a cast iron waffle maker for while out camping right now. Dutch ovens are amazing. Anyone who's never cooked with a Dutch oven, you can use it in the house. And I mean, if you're making stews or anything, really, I mean, they're just fucking amazing. And then if you actually go out camping, it's kind of cool if you can go ahead, dig a pit, light a fire in it. And around here, we have this this type of bush called manzanita. Manzanita is fucking amazing for cooking. Not so much for smoking, like as far as like smoking meats. I'm not talking about smoking, because no, you don't want to do that, because that'll kill you. But the thing is you go ahead, you light it. It actually doesn't really burn all that well, but it smolders. And the thing is those coals get so fucking hot. And if you're using a Dutch oven, the way that the Dutch oven works is it's kind of like a fucked up pressure cooker. And you can actually take the burning embers from the manzanita and put it on top. And because of that high heat, all emanating in at the same time, it cooks the food evenly through, and it's really hard to burn something in a legit Dutch oven. Oh, Michael, I have two cast iron skillets. Yeah, no, whew. What I would love to do is actually get a wok as well now. That'd be a nifty little thing. Although there was one time I actually made homemade from scratch chow mein using the Dutch oven to make it, and that was really fucking good because I used the Dutch oven to go ahead and pressure boil the noodles, and then I took the noodles out and put them into a cast iron skillet and fried them, put them back into the Dutch oven after I drained the water, and put some oil in, and then put in all the rest of the ingredients for the chow mein. But oh, and the thing is if you ever, Michael, if you ever come back out to California and you go camping, cook with manzanita. Your life will be changed. One moment. Oh, well, that's awesome. Apparently, I get to do something else, but got a little bit more time on it to finish up the conversation. But yeah, no, definitely, Michael, if you ever find yourself in California and in the northern part, or anywhere that has manzanita that grows, definitely use manzanita for cooking. It's absolutely fantastic. It leaves an excellent flavor. I wouldn't say quite as good as hickory, but the thing is it because it's the coals and not the flame, it really it really gives a good flavor, and it's really good for cooking. But remember, they do burn hot, so you don't want to cook something like a thick steak with it close down to the embers. If you're going to do that, you want it in an enclosed area where it's going to cook all around. But the flavor that manzanita imparts is absolutely fucking fantastic. Anyone who is a fan of cooking. In fact, for a while there, a couple of restaurants here in the U.S. actually wanted to come up to Northern California and start harvesting our manzanita. Northern California's governments collectively told them to go fuck themselves, because we're all like, no, we don't want you killing off our manzanita. That's part of the reason why people go camping up here. And that's one of our main tourist attractions. And that's how we get our money up here, because Southern California leaches all the rest of our shit from our agriculture out. So yeah, not to mention all the damage that it would do to the woods and all that sort of thing from mass harvesting of manzanita. Basically, if a company wanted to go ahead and come up here to get manzanita, they'd have to buy up a large swath of land, plant manzanita, and wait for it to grow. Well, manzanita isn't exactly the fastest growing thing. It's not super slow, but it's not fast. And so they'd have to buy up a lot of fucking land to be able to fuel that little habit of theirs. Oh yeah, black sand, even our water. Yep, black sand knows. Um, basically what it is where I live, I actually live near two dams. And the thing is Southern California can sit there and call us up and say, hey, we need you to release more fucking water. We don't get to ask why. And they have put us into several droughts up here already. And one time was because, and I shit you not, one time was because of a fucking, it was some microbe. Some small organism. And it's not like it was harmful and they needed us to flush it out or anything. No, they wanted more water to keep this organism alive. It's not even an endangered species organism. It's all over the fucking world, and it wouldn't affect our ecosystem even in the slightest if it was to fucking disappear. But they put us into a drought for that. And then where I lived, everyone was joking that we were the seventh ring of hell. But it was only halfway a joke because we literally had 6 fires around us and then one giant fire surrounding my entire fucking city. There was only one way in and one way out for 3 weeks. And our entire town was absolutely covered in smoke. I mean, you're talking asthma attacks, people with COPD having issues and being in the hospital the entire fucking time. Smokers, even as heavy as smokers as me, was sitting there and going, yeah, I don't even want a fucking cigarette. There's already enough smoke in the fucking air. Heat increase because all the fires and then the smoke trapping the heat in drove up our fucking temperatures, making the fires even worse and making them spread even farther. Oh my god, it was absolutely fucking terrible. And they were sitting there and going, well, at least we saved this. It's all like, fuck you. Do you know how many people died because of your bullshit? I was so fucking angry. We lost large swaths of land to those fucking fires. Then a couple years after, we finally fucking got recovered for the most part. Except for a bunch of surrounding forest areas, which had been decimated. Not like with a controlled burn. It wasn't just the underbrush. I mean, trees, everything. Boom. Done. Which caused some major ecosystem problems here. Temperature-wise, rainfall, flooding. As a result of it, because there was nothing to stop the runoff. Landslides. Mudslides. Rock slides. Exceedingly high humidity, swamp ass as wide as the nose can smell. It was absolutely fucking terrible. We finally got to the point where we were starting to fucking recover, and they called us up and said, hey, we need you to open up again. Alright, why this time? Well, we don't have enough water down here. What do you mean you don't have enough water down there? We have a surplus of water this time around. What the fuck? We've been releasing water because it was hitting the overflow point. What do you mean you don't have enough water down there? Turns out their lawns were fucking dying and they wanted us to drain both of our fucking lakes all at once. Fuck Southern California. There's a reason why Northern California has been wanting to split off from Southern California for decades. And it would be fucking amazing because then Southern California, hey, we need some fucking water. Yeah, $5,000 a minute. And we'll half open the floodgates for you. And the thing is us having to do that, every time we have to fucking do that, guess what? All of our crops up here die. But they still expect the same amount of taxes from us. No problem, Mr. H. But yeah. But then also the fact that Northern California's conservatives, we like our guns. We're also got a lot of hunting communities up here. A lot of farming communities. Guns are fucking needed. Not in anywhere near enough fucking cops in any of our fucking towns up here. And so we kind of got to take care of our own. And yet they're sitting there and saying, well, we don't know why anyone would need an AK, or why anyone would need a AR-15. Well, why can't you just get away with a musket? Because your fucking problem children come up here and think that they can run the joint, and we're telling them otherwise. With a very loud cacophony of bangs. Yet they're perfectly fucking fine sitting there and warning people that ICE are coming, that have brought over illegal guns over the border, aren't here legally, have been found guilty of multiple violent crimes in the fucking past, have a history of rape, theft, home invasion, the list goes on and on. They're perfectly fine warning those people so that they can get away and try to run up here. Not to mention Northern California, several states paid Southern California's governments for Northern California to be a drop-off point when they release fucking prisoners. Really? They're trying to make ammo have a background check next year? Really? They're trying to get that fucking... Nah. That fucking happens, I will find a way out of California. I don't give a fuck what I have to do. Yeah, it'll be hard to work out the whole issue with my daughter, but you know what? At that point, it's worth it. Fuck this shit. What, was it a unilateral decision, Black Sand? Was it one of those things that just doesn't get put up to a fucking vote? They just arbitrarily decided on it? I know some people sit there and say, oh, well, you know, if Trump comes in and, Alright, Michael. Have yourself a good one. Yeah, no, I'm down to do a stream with you, man. Got no problems with it. Go ahead and hit me up on Discord. Yeah. And it seems about right. That's another reason why Northern California needs to split off, because then Northern California would not have to obey any of those fucked up laws. We could come up with all of our own fucked up laws. But I am so fucking sick and tired of this shit. Like, I'm seriously, I'm done with it. I mean, something's got to give here. I mean, because the state of California has been chipping away at people's rights for decades. They can have some good. I wish them luck enforcing that. I really do. And as soon as they hit someone with that, that's going to go up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court's going to be like, yeah, no, that's not reasonable. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to end the stream here, guys. Because I have to go ahead and take care of this other BS. But I'll probably be doing another stream either tomorrow or the next day. I'm going to try to get back onto a regular streaming pattern. So if there's anything you guys want me to go ahead and cover, or if you want to go ahead and come on in on a live stream with me and talk about whatever, go ahead, hit me up. I'm more than willing to host people on my chat. But yeah, so go ahead, let me know. Hit me up in the Discord. Personal message me. Don't do it in the general chat because sometimes I don't see it. But there's also a topic request board. So if you want to request a topic, you can go ahead and do that, or you can personal message it to me. But yeah. Have yourselves a good one, all. To anyone watching afterward, if you've made it all the way through, thank you. Definitely appreciate it. If you liked the topic of discussion, if you liked the slightly longer than normal lately live stream, go ahead, hit the like button. Have yourselves a great day. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.